on, you guys, and welcome to another video. This one is a little bit different from all the one sorry, this one is a little bit different from all the other ones I've done so far, when I would share experiences and recruitment processes that I've been through. This one is about 5 things that may or may not shock you. May or may not? No, 5 things that may shock you that happen in
Are you sure about that?
You may or may not know about. It's quite interesting. A lot of the conversations I have with my friends and tell them about certain stories or the many stories that I have around retail, and they don't really believe me. But anyone who's worked in retail and has managed a store and has been there and has done that, they will understand this video for sure. So let's jump into number 1. And number 1 is abuse, straight off the bat. Yep. Loads of abuse. Abuse is almost part of the job. They will leave that out on the job description because I don't think that would look very good when they're asking for staff members to apply or for people to apply to their jobs. But abuse is part of the job. And although my philosophy is abuse is not part of the job, unfortunately in today's day and age, abuse is part of being a retail worker. And here's numbers that will confirm that. Throughout the year, there is more or less 4,500 incidents or accidents involving a weapon of any kind. It can be a bottle, it can be a piece of meat, it can be a knife, it can be a gun. We've seen it all and we've suffered it all. And I personally, the most I've been threatened with was a small knife, like a pocket knife, sort of kind of this big. I've been threatened with a basket. I've been threatened to be beaten up outside. I've been threatened to get my car stolen. I've been threatened to buy a bottle of champagne. I've been spat on more times than I wish I could. I was spat on straight on my neck once. The other ones I was able to sort of dodge it and anticipate it, which is kind of sad. I mean, I've forgotten how much discrimination I've suffered from customers and how much verbal abuse I've suffered. Physical, nobody ever dared to, because I am quite big and I do work out quite a lot for that exact reason. So no one ever dared, but I don't really get paid to be yelled at. But yeah, 4,500 cases of then the number for you is not uncommon to see around 400 incidents, which were reported in 2020. 400 incidents a day in verbal, physical threats or verbal abuse in retail. So yeah, there's some numbers for you that may or may not shock you. I personally, it's a serious issue, mate. It's a serious issue that needs to be fixed, but it will never get fixed until you remove the face-to-face customer service. As soon as you remove the customer side of it, so customers will have to go into self-checkouts or just scan the scanning machines that they have now and scan it on the till and purchase their shopping, or the whole thing just moves into online world. That will never disappear, I'm afraid, unless the laws toughen up, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. So yeah, that's number 1. Number 2, and it's something that is well known, which is shoplifting and robbery. I've seen all kinds of robbery as well, anywhere from rum raids. I've seen that personally. That's very common in co-op, by the way. In Lidl, not so much, but it is heard of. Rum raid is when someone takes a car and literally rams it through the front door. The glass breaks. The doors obviously are made of glass, so they break, and the metal shutter gets bent. The car doesn't actually come in, but you can still slip through inside and steal whatever you want, really. Of course, money is behind the door and 2 sealed safes, but if there is a staff member in there, it's very easy to just grab him by the neck or a knife or a gun of any kind and just tell him, take me to the safe and give me all the money. Of course, the staff member is not going to be stupid to fight this. He's going to give him the money, and that's that. Plenty of stories about that as well. I personally never had a robbery or of any issue of any kind, but there's happened plenty in Bristol, 3 times in 1 year in different stores. And robberies, I've heard stories of people just being put on their knees and guns pointed at their heads and knives and whatnot, bats, machetes. and an axe, not machete, an axe, sorry, that's, an axe to cut wood. Heard that. It doesn't sound like a pleasant thing to be gone through, but unfortunately shoplifting is not something that's considered anything in the UK. People, if they are shoplifting, usually just get charged with theft. And you can blame the police all you want, but the police is stretched to the very bone. So I've worked with a lot of police members prior, and the state of mind and state of these people is horrifying as well. Some of these people work 12 hours a day, if not more. And every time they come into the store, you can just see their face going just like red and full of sweat and stories to tell, and it's not a nice pleasant, and we can't really blame the police for it. All we have to blame is the laws and the lawmakers of the country and how soft the laws actually are when it comes to these things. But just to give you a few numbers, I think I've got one from 2019, which is retailers overall reported £2.2 billion of shoplifting and robbery items. Of course, that if this would be a homeless person coming in, stealing a sandwich because he's hungry, you're sort of just like, fine, just have the sandwich, I'll just cut it out, waste it, which is a process in retail, and you can have it, it's fine. But no, the majority of items that go missing are batteries, wines and spirits, beers, big meats, so beefy meats, the ones that cost like £5, and cosmetics. All of this is stolen in order to sell. Shoplifting has become a business in the UK, and that's the reality of it. And we almost sort of just have to live with it, because unfortunately, that's how it is. And of course, police won't investigate any of it unless it's a constant occurrence and we have CCTV proof and we are able to identify the person. And of course, this needs to be £200 over for them to actually do something about it. Again, it's not up to the police, it's up to the law to change in order to protect shoplifting and robbery, I guess. But that's how it works. So that's number 2. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3, I put one that I think everyone knows, which is long hours. Retail is not a 9 to 5 job or an 8 to 4 job. Retail, you'd start as early as 4 a.m. and finish at 4 p.m. You'd have night shifts that you'd start at 10, finish at 10. That sort of thing is not unheard of. I personally, the longest week I've ever had was 73 hours. The longest shift I've ever had straight was 30 hours, but I've witnessed people doing 80 hours in 1 week, doing 7 days a week without 2 days off. It's illegal to do 30 hours straight, by the way. It's illegal to do more than 48 hours a week. It's illegal to do more than 10 hours, or more than 8 hours actually, without 1 hour break in between. I've done 30 hours straight with only half an hour break. So, yes, you can call me dumb all you want, but the reality is that if you care about what you're doing, in a sense, and no one else does, you kind of just do it without even realizing it, but then you realize at the end of the week when you're shuttered and you can't do anything personally because you're so tired. Unfortunately, again, this is not up to a team to sort of know. This is up to a business to say, no, we don't allow people to do more than the 48 hours. We don't allow people to do more. They come in at 6, they need to leave at 2. That's it. And another thing is, you see how in logistics, for example, if you do overtime, you get 1.5 times your salary. In retail, there's none of that. So if you do extra hours, if you're a manager, first of all, you don't get paid. And if you are a normal member, yes, you get paid the hourly basic rate, and that's pretty much it. And that's how it works. So yeah, number 3, it's really, really long hours. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is customer service. Unrealistic, inconsistent, and it's just not a thing. We can say that customer service is a thing in retail all you want, but the reality is that people come in thinking that we are there to serve them. We're not there to serve them, we're there to help them with anything that they may or may not need. But again, this comes back to abuse. Customer service and abuse is, you can put them as further away as you can, but the reality is they are together and they are one thing and they work together. Unfortunately, I personally can't wait for the time where everything is going to be fully automated. A person comes inside the shop, they scan their shopping, they take it to a self-checkout, they scan that barcode, and their shopping is paid via an account that they've had, similar to what Amazon is doing now. I can't wait for them to succeed and take over the UK. I really can't wait for that. Just because I know people are suffering out there every single day because someone just can't speak like a human. And the worst part of it, you can have 100 customers being nice and you can have 100 pleasant situations, but then comes the one person and it just ruins the whole 100 and ruins the whole experience. And unfortunately, that's how it works. The bad always outweighs the good, in this case at least. But yeah, that's customer service is just unrealistic, and companies can say that that's their main priority, but then they don't actually put the effort to control it and to make it pleasant for both customers and staff members. So it's like Lidl, for example. Lidl says that they are a customer-facing company. They're not. They're not, because they don't provide the stuff. They don't provide the labor. They don't provide the numbers. They don't provide the well-being necessary for people to actually give about customers. And that's the reality of it. You can say no all you want, but the reality is exactly that. If you do work in retail, I'm sure you will understand what I'm saying. Or if you work in a customer-faced environment, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, do let me know. I'm actually quite curious to know if I'm the only one who's got this feeling. I know for a fact that I'm not. But if you do know, debate. We like that, don't we? So let me know. Well-being of staff will be number 5. Yeah. I mean, being a retail worker for a long period of time also means that there is a good chance you might be in a depression. There's a good chance you might have anxiety. And I don't know, I don't want to go further than that, but there is stories of people going further than that. I wish that I didn't have a lot of stories when it comes to well-being and people crying and all that. Unfortunately, I don't. I do have a lot of them. And it's an unfortunate situation. It hasn't been completely out of the blue or out of reality for me coming to a store and just seeing someone crying because someone was rude. Because someone decided to think that they owned the supermarket and they came in and said, I don't know, racist comments or discriminative comments or just call you an idiot. You know, it's not unusual. People don't get paid for that. Our teams in retail, they don't get paid to be abused, you know. Believe it or not, they can answer back because if you are being abusive, they can actually be abusive back. But it might be the case that they might end up getting a disciplinary or might end up being fired. I personally abolish companies that actually do that. I've been a part of one of those and I threatened to sue and they dropped the charges. So yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, Wellbeing, and the one that was most shocking out of all 3 companies that I worked for was Co-op, which is a company that promotes well-being quite hardly. And yeah, we are all for colleagues and we're all for the well-being of our colleagues. But they were the absolute worst. They didn't do anything about tackling the actual issues that get depression and anxieties into our colleagues, and it's rough. And it's really sad as well. You know, you as a manager, you care about these people, you care about their team, you care about how they're doing and emotionally and all that, and you want to provide a safe environment for them to be in and a good culture. But it doesn't happen. You know, a lot of people, you can say that people need to be tougher and people are weak, but the reality is people don't get paid to be abused. People don't get paid to be yelled at. People don't get paid to be offended. You know, that's the reality of it. And you can say people need to get tougher. That's not the right thing to do. You need to find where the core of the problem is and try and fix it. So yeah, I'm really sorry if this video doesn't have much of a structure. This is like the first video of this kind that I do, but I really enjoy doing it. It's really cool if somebody has a different opinion or a different comment. It would be cool if you could comment. I really am curious to know how many people out there suffer with these issues. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Those are the 5 things that may or may not shock you. I mean, in retail, and I really like this kind of videos, and I hope I do more of these some kind. So you can see that I'm swinging now my arms for no reason because I don't know how to finish this video. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Drop me a comment or like if you enjoyed the video, or dislike if you didn't. Up to you. and I will see you on the next one.